Today, on Salem Witch Trials Daily, judges follow up with Abigail Hobbs and Mary Warren following yesterday's confessions, and two new specters appear, both of them Georges. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
This is Sarah Jack. On April 20th, 1692, when the magistrates questioned Abigail Hobbs in Salem jail, she told them about Judah White, whom she described as a Jersey maid that lived with Joseph Ingersoll at Casco, but now lives at Boston.
And Joseph Ingersoll was the nephew of prominent Salem Village resident Nathaniel Ingersoll, the innkeeper and militia lieutenant.
According to Abigail, Judah White's apparition visited her yesterday, along with Sarah Goodshape, and told her to run away and not go to her examination.
But Abigail told them that she would go, but they told her she must not confess. She responded that she would confess all that she knew. Now they told her that Sarah Osborne was a witch.
For this visit, Judah White was dressed in fine clothes and a sad-colored mantle with a top knot and a hood. That is, she wore a light-colored cloak with a hood that tied at the top, a fancy 17th century hoodie.
Abigail confessed further that the devil in the shape of a man came to her and would have her to afflict Ann Putnam Jr., Mercy Lewis, and Abigail Williams.
The devil brought their images with him in wood like them, and gave her thorns and bid her prick them into the images, which she did accordingly into each of them.
Then the devil told her they were afflicted, which accordingly they were, and cried out they were hurt by Abigail Hobbs.
Abigail also said she was at the witches' Sabbath in Minister Samuel's pasture when the witches ate red bread and drank red wine.
Next, it was Mary Warren's turn to answer more questions. She said John Proctor never liked putting up bills for public prayer at the meeting house.
John Hathorne asked her if she didn't know that it was the devil's book that she signed.
And she claimed she didn't know it was the devil's book, but she could sense it was no good.
After she signed, she knew it was the devil's book.
And the Saturday night after she had posted her note of thanks at the meeting house, Elizabeth Proctor appeared to her, pulled her out of bed, and told her she was a witch and had signed the book.
Mary pointed out that her mistress appeared to her bodily, not spectrally.
Elizabeth Proctor supposedly told Mary that she, Mary, would have figured out her bosses were witches if only she'd paid attention to what books Elizabeth read.
The night after Specter Elizabeth made these revelations, she came bodily to Mary and said that Mary and John Proctor Jr. would quickly be brought out for witches. In fact, John Jr. was never formally accused of witchcraft, unlike his siblings Benjamin, Joseph, Sarah, and William, who will all be arrested.
Mary Warren said that Giles Cory's apparition told her the night before that the magistrates were going up to the farms to bring down more witches to torment her.
Now she had a dreadful fit and blamed it on Giles Cory, who was in another room of the jail. He had come into her room, afflicted her, and told her not to come into the other room while he was being examined.
There's a lot of this jailhouse intrigue here. The magistrates decided to bring Giles over in person from the other room. They commanded him to look upon Mary, and he no sooner turned his face to her, but she fell into a dreadful fit again.
When Mary recovered, she charged Giles to his face with afflicting her and said that he would fit her for it, because he told her she had caused her master to ask more for a piece of meadow than he was willing to give.
So John Proctor apparently had asked Mary's advice on a real estate transaction, or she had given it to him anyway.
The author of this record closed it by saying that before Mary ever saw Giles in person that day, she had a fit in the other room and described him in all his garments, including his hat, his coat, the cord around his waist, the white cap on his head, and his chains.
Chains would probably be the easiest thing because she might have had those too. In a deposition dated August 3rd, Ann Putnam Jr. accused former Salem Village minister George Burroughs of appearing to her spectrally today, April 20th, at evening and scaring her grievously. She cried out, "Oh, dreadful, dreadful, here is a minister come. What, are you ministers witches too? Whence come you, and what is your name? For I will complain of you, though you be a minister, if you be a wizard." For this statement that Anne made, the Burroughs specter tortured, racked, and almost choked her, while tempting her to sign the devil's book.
Anne refused with loud outcries and told him that she wouldn't write in his stinky old book if he tore her all to pieces.
Then she said, "It is a dreadful thing that he which was a minister that should teach children to fear God should come to persuade poor creatures to give their souls to the devil. Oh, dreadful, dreadful, tell me your name that I may know who you are."
Again, Burroughs' Specter tortured Anne and urged her to sign, which she refused. Then he finally told her his name and said he'd had 3 wives. He'd bewitched the first 2 wives to death.
And he'd also killed his successor in Salem Village, Deodat Lawson's wife and child, because he came to the Maine frontier with Dominion of New England Governor Edmund Andros and preached so to the soldiers and bewitched a great many soldiers to death.
Burroughs allegedly recruited Abigail Hobbs and several other people as witches, and he told Anne he ranked above mere witch because he was a conjurer.
Fancy. Now, Mercy Lewis testified against George Jacobs Sr., an 82-year-old farmer, on May 10th, and said that today, the 20th of April around midnight, George's specter appeared to her. He was an old, very gray-headed man, and he told her his name, indicating that she didn't actually know him before in real life. Just as Ann Putnam Jr. was too young to recognize George Burroughs, and that's why she had to have him, the specter, tell her his name, he hadn't preached in Salem Village since Anne was a toddler.
Mercy said the Jacob Specter tortured her and beat her with a stick, urging her to sign his book. She refused.
Join us again tomorrow for information on 9 new witchcraft suspects. 9.